Now, everybody has some sort of bucket list in their life, and I don't know what's on everyone else's list, but the main goal on mine is to road trip to Canada. Canada just has so many great features, including hockey, weird food, and beautiful scenery. Back in 2009, Canada was the theme semester here at MSSU. And I'm a student ambassador here, and I think it's interesting to know more about our theme semesters to be able to explain to students when they come visit. And I've always had an interest in Canada and have researched and learned even more about it over the course of the past couple of weeks. In this speech, I will pinpoint some of Canada's greatest features, including their activities, cuisine, and landscape. To begin, I will start with the activities that are popular in Canada. So, there are an abundant amount of recreational activities that vary in the winter and the summer. So, during the winter, there are a lot of sports on ice played in Canada that definitely aren't as common in weird weathered Missouri. So, first off, we'll start with a more common one, hockey, my favorite sport. So, hockey is huge in Canada. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, the original teams of the National Hockey League were all Canadian. So, Canada is kind of the main root of hockey. And other sports, such as curling, ice skating, and cross country skiing, are also extremely popular in Canada. So, once things get a little bit warmer, during the summertime, there are a lot of things to do in Canada that's not on the ice. There are a lot of national parks all over Canada, so things like hiking, mountain biking, and camping are all ideal activities for the summer. And for people not wanting to go so extreme with the outdoors, there's plenty of fishing or boating options since there are so many bodies of water. And after a long day of hiking or fishing in Canada, the people go fill their empty stomachs with some unique choices of food. The traditional food choices for Canadians are quite interesting. Now, obviously, everyone knows about Canadian bacon, also known as ham, but there are a couple things I wasn't aware of. The first thing that stuck out to me as an interesting choice of food for the Canadians is their excessive use of ketchup. Now, I've known a few ketchup lovers myself, but nothing as extreme as the Canadians. An article from Reader's Digest explained how they use ketchup in everything. They put ketchup on their mac and cheese or even dip their grilled cheese in ketchup. And another popular food item from this article are ketchup chips. So it's a huge hit over in Canada. The trend has definitely not gone south to the US yet. Hopefully it stays up there because it doesn't sound the most appealing to me, but the Canadians seem to love it. And ironically, the thing the Canadians don't use ketchup with is French fries. So they have created a dish known as poutine. So poutine is one of Canada's most known dishes. It's comprised of a peppery meat-based gravy and cheese curds on top of the fries. So it's said to date back to the 1950s and was claimed to be invented by several small towns in Quebec. The last main point I feel is most definitely worth mentioning is the beautiful geography of Canada. I absolutely love the cold weather and being outdoors, so the view of the scenery in Canada is a bonus. Most people think of traveling to a place like Florida to take a long walk on the beach, but I'd say they've gone to the wrong place. An article from Canadian Geographic says that this country has the longest coastlines in the world, 243,000 kilometers. Since we're special Americans, I converted it, and that's about 151,000 miles, so it's a crazy amount of coastline. And apparently, if you walked a little over 12 miles a day, then it would take 33 years to cover all the coastline in Canada. And so, another geographical feature that is significant is the lakes. There are millions of lakes in Canada, having more lakes than any other country by a landslide. And a really cool thing I learned is that the water from our Great Lakes, which is the largest source of fresh water in the world, flows into St. Lawrence in Canada and it creates an estuary. An estuary is where salt water and the fresh water mix together. So this one in St. Lawrence is the deepest and largest one in the world. So I thought that was a really cool thing. Overall, Canada has a beautiful culture full of recreation, interesting cuisine, and a breathtaking landscape. And now that I've learned even more about this country and its amazing qualities, I hope that one day I can finally check a road trip to Canada off my bucket list.